Hey, welcome to the Christ Revealed YouTube channel. I got a great interview coming up for you. Really great to be here with you. Enjoy this interview. Well, speaking of turbulence, so it seems that in recent years, the atheists have really scaled up their assertions about the existence of God, or that you can't prove the existence of God, etc. So that's another one I think of the big challenges.
Sure,
right now.
yes. They're selling a lot of books. There's the front four: Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, Daniel Dennett, and Sam Harris, known as the new atheist. But there's a whole lot of people that are riding their coattails and taking advantage of the surge, which I think in some way got a leg up at 9/11, because here was a religiously motivated disaster. 2,977 innocent people lost their lives in 9/11, and this got a lot of people bugged about dogmatic religious claims, and so these guys had a field day. Chris Hitchens' book was How Religion Poisons Everything, So God is not good, how religion poisons everything. And so I think they were able to get some traction. Now, what they did is they created a kind of a trend that I don't know how long it's going to last. It's starting to abate just a little bit right now. But it certainly is a trend in which it's become sophisticated to be an atheist, and they're getting more respect in a certain way. And I guess they've considered themselves somewhat personas non grata in the past, because you have to believe in God to be a real citizen and a good person. And so they've advanced arguments to show not only that God doesn't exist, but it's the religious people that are the dangerous people, not the atheist. An atheist can be really good even without God, okay? And so this then presents a challenge for us, because our story starts in the beginning God. And if there's no God, there's no story, okay? And so it's become beholden upon us, I think, to be not only more visible with good arguments in favor of the existence of God and answering some of those challenges, but also making these arguments more accessible to the rank and file. Okay, and I think that's happened in response to the new atheists and others like them, that we have been able to take the cosmological argument and the teleological argument and the moral argument. See, these are fancy philosophical terms, but we can put them in language that people can understand. For example, the cosmological argument. What's that? Well, that's an argument for God based on the existence of the universe, the cosmos, okay? And it asks the question, why is something here rather than nothing? Okay, now here's the way I put it. Most people believe in the Big Bang, and I think there's justification in that. It doesn't create any problems for me. Some Christians don't like it, okay? But I don't think they see how well it fits into their story. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Big Bang, there it is. This is perfectly consistent with our story. And the way I put it, to put a handle on it for people, is a Big Bang needs a Big Banger, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. And that is the cosmological argument, at least one form of it, in a nutshell, so to speak. Very accessible to people and very common sense. So when I talk to people on this issue, for example, to make it accessible, I say, well, I'll ask them a couple of questions. Do you think things exist? Yeah, of course I do. Do you think the things that exist always existed? No, they came into existence, like at the Big Bang. I said, okay, great. What caused the Big Bang? Oh, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. Oh, you don't have to be a scientist, because you only have two options, either something or no thing. I want to be careful with saying nothing, because some people start treating nothing like it's a kind of thing called nothing. So that's why I want to say it's no thing, okay, that it had no cause, either something or nothing. Now that's pretty much a complete set of possibilities there. So what's he going to say? Now the atheist doesn't want to say something, because the minute you say something caused everything else, then there's something outside of the everything else, and they don't want to say that. Because their whole project is this everything else is all there is. And the something outside of it is going to have to be pretty smart, pretty powerful, and all of a sudden it's starting to sound like the G word there, God. They don't want to go there. But what's their only other alternative? It wasn't something, it was no thing. Now, this is wildly counterintuitive. That's worse than magic, actually. Because in magic, you have a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but in this case, you have no magician, and you have no hat. You just have the rabbit.
No thing.
The universe coming into existence.
Right.
And like, come on, who believes that that kind of thing actually takes place? Now, you might want to say something can come from nothing like that without a cause. If you believe that, you're welcome to it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But you got more faith, quote unquote, than I got. Because it's certainly not the odds-on favorite.
Right.
If your wife came home and saw in your garage that a Mercedes SL there, it said, honey, where did that Mercedes come from? Darling, it just popped into existence out of nothing. Happens all the time, That's the way they think the universe came to be, after all. You think any wife is going to believe that nonsense? No. So where's the smart money? That's my question here. Even if you want to say maybe something can come from nothing, is that the smart money? No, that's not the smart money. The smart money is on something, and the minute you say something, you're in my camp, okay? That's God, all right? And so that's just one little piece of evidence. I think that, the way I described it, quite accessible, pretty straightforward, and very common-sensible. And there's a whole raft of things like that we can point to.
So the corollary now is science and Christianity, right?
Right. Well, this is there's this conflict, and I'm just going to tell you, this is contrived. This is a contrived conflict. It started at the end, towards the end of the 19th century. Before that, there was no such thing as a conflict between science and religion. And if you think about virtually all of the fathers of major disciplines of science, whether it's Kepler or Faraday, or whether it's Gregor Mendel, the monk, or whether it's Newton himself, they were all biblical theists. And rather than religion being a science stopper, which the atheists say nowadays, it was a science starter. Science started in the fertile soil of a Christian worldview. These people convinced that an intelligent God made an intelligible world that followed certain patterns that we could discover to use for ourselves and learn something about the Creator. Okay, so it wasn't until the late 19th century that Enlightenment sensibilities started to inveigh against the existence of God and used science to do it, okay? So there's nothing about the methodologies of science that preclude God's involvement in specialized circumstances when the evidence seems appropriate, like the origin of the universe or the origin of life. These are two singularities, so to speak, that are examples of the kind of thing that science, let me put it this way, naturalistic, mechanistic explanations are not going to do. Right. It just, it's just not going to, you're not going to get something from nothing using scientific principles. It doesn't work that way. Okay, science works with the natural world. It doesn't explain how the natural world came to be. And when it comes to the nature of life, life is very complex and it's run on information. That's what the DNA double helix is all about. Well, who wrote those books? You got to have new information going into the genome for life to develop, okay? And so all attempts to explain that by a naturalistic process has failed miserably. Okay, so why, if the evidence points to God, why can't we invoke intelligence when it seems in evidence? Okay, so a forensic pathologist will go to a crime scene and look for a fingerprint. Okay, is that unscientific? No, he's using the science to find the bad guy or the person who did it. Okay, well, that's what we're doing, using science to find the person who did it, the big thing, the universe. Why is now that disqualified? We're talking about God, okay? And that seems to be a false move. And there's a reason for this happening, though. And the reason that it happens, the reason that science that points to a designer is not science but religion, is because there's another religion in play. And that religion is called materialism.
That's it for this particular interview. Thanks for joining me. Really excited to take this ongoing journey with you as we keep bringing more content. If you haven't already, you really should subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of phenomenal content coming down the road into the future that you'll want to know about. Leave a comment down here. I think people would love to hear from you, and then you can hear from them too. If you liked it, go ahead and give a like. It only takes half a second, and share this with people that you care about. The world needs more light in it right now. So thanks for being with me. Hope to connect with you again soon.